Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you thought you knew about yourself, your identity, your values, your emotions, was never truly yours. What if the person you believe yourself to be is nothing more than an illusion, a mask crafted by forces beyond your control? What if the real you, the one buried beneath years of social conditioning, silent compromises, and self-deception, is something entirely different? Today, we embark on a journey into the deepest corners of the human mind, guided by the revolutionary insights of Friedrich Nietzsche and the hidden truths of psychology. By the time we reach the end, you will have uncovered shocking revelations about yourself, truths so unsettling that society has spent centuries trying to bury them. And the final revelation? It is the most powerful of all: the great illusion. Most people live their entire lives trapped inside a carefully designed illusion. From childhood, we are told who we should be. We are trained, molded to seek approval and suppress the parts of ourselves that might provoke rejection. We adapt, we conform, we silence our inner voices to fit neatly into families, schools, workplaces, believing that this is simply life. But Nietzsche warned us, this is not truly living. It is a mechanical existence, a cycle of unconscious repetition, a life where people inherit their values, their beliefs, their desires, without ever questioning them. So ask yourself, are you truly in control of your life? Or are you simply playing a role that was assigned to you long before you ever had a choice? The shadow within Nietzsche's philosophy demands that we strip away these illusions and face a truth that is both terrifying and liberating. He spoke of the Übermensch, the higher self, the individual who transcends societal programming and dares to create their own meaning. But this transformation, it is not easy. It requires an intense, often brutal confrontation with the parts of yourself that you have long ignored, the parts you've denied, hidden, and buried so deep you barely remember they exist. Consider the shadow, a concept later developed by Carl Jung, but deeply rooted in Nietzsche's thinking. Your shadow is everything you refuse to acknowledge: your hidden fears, your suppressed desires, your unspoken thoughts, the things you pretend do not exist, but never truly disappear. And here's the terrifying truth: ignoring your shadow does not make it vanish. It only makes it stronger. Have you ever caught yourself saying or doing something completely out of character? Something that even shocks you? A sudden outburst of anger, a reckless decision, a desire you cannot explain. That is your shadow clawing its way to the surface. No matter how much you suppress it, it refuses to be silenced. If you do not confront it, it will control you from the depths of your unconscious, waiting for the moment to break free. The price of denial. Nietzsche understood this long before modern psychology. He warned that those who refuse to confront their inner darkness are doomed to be consumed by it. The person who denies their own chaos, they will inevitably become its victim. Think of the people who spend their lives trying to be good, the ones who avoid conflict, who suppress their desires, who live for approval. They are the ones who, sooner or later, explode with rage or sink into despair. Because the more you suppress your darkness, the more it festers beneath the surface, waiting for the moment it will no longer be contained. Society teaches us to reject our raw, untamed nature. Be polite, be agreeable. Suppress your ambition, your aggression, your instincts. But Nietzsche argued, these instincts are not evil. They are a part of what makes us powerful. The danger is not in their existence, but in our refusal to acknowledge them. When you deny your true nature, you fracture yourself. You present one version of yourself to the world, while secretly battling another within. This inner conflict drains you. It fuels anxiety. It breeds dissatisfaction. It leads ultimately to self-destruction. The path to liberation. So what is the way forward? Nietzsche's answer was both radical and terrifying. Radical self-awareness. To become who you truly are, you must be willing to stare into the abyss of your own mind without fear. You must be willing to question everything you have been taught about right and wrong, about success and failure, about yourself and the world. But be warned, this path is not for the weak. It demands courage. The kind of courage most people will never possess. Those who walk this path will face discomfort. They will endure uncertainty. They will grapple with moments of existential crisis. But those who survive the journey, they will emerge transformed. And as we continue this exploration, we will uncover three powerful principles that will forever change the way you see yourself. The last one is the most shocking of all. And once you grasp it, you will never see the world the same way again. Because the greatest fear of all is not the truth about the world, it is the truth about ourselves. We spend our lives carefully crafting an identity, hiding from the parts of ourselves we cannot bear to face. But Nietzsche left us with one final, haunting message. Man is something that shall be overcome. The question is, will you have the courage to overcome yourself? The person you believe yourself to be is not your final form. It is a fragile construction, a mass shaped by expectation, by fear, by forces you barely understand. And if you truly wish to discover who you are beneath it all, you must be willing to break it. But here is where the fear sets in. Because to shatter a false identity means to step into the unknown. It means stripping away every comforting illusion, every borrowed belief, and standing alone in the vast, unsettling void of your own consciousness. And this is precisely why most people will never do it. They choose comfort over truth, routine over transformation. They turn away from the abyss, out of fear that they will lose themselves. But what if losing yourself is the only way to finally find yourself? The role of suffering in self-discovery. Nietzsche understood something that most people refuse to accept. Suffering is not a mistake. It is not something to be avoided. It is the very force that shapes us. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. The discomfort you feel when questioning your identity, when confronting painful truths about yourself, it is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are awakening. But most people do not want to awaken. They prefer the dream. They wrap themselves in the comfort of social validation, of familiar habits, of paths already paved. They would rather be controlled by external forces than take responsibility for shaping their own identity. This is what Nietzsche called the herd mentality, a life dictated by fear, by submission to expectation, by an unwillingness to think beyond what is safe and familiar. But the true individual, the one who seeks real self-knowledge, must be willing to detach from the herd, not to reject society entirely, but to refuse to let it dictate the course of your life. It means stepping outside the roles you have been assigned. Son, daughter, friend, employee, citizen, and asking yourself, who am I beyond all of this? Most people never ask that question. They move through life as if following a script written by someone else, never realizing that they have the power to rewrite it. They believe they are free, but in reality they are trapped by invisible chains of expectation, by fear, by conformity. And here lies one of the most dangerous illusions of all, the belief that you already know yourself. The most unsettling question. If you were to strip away your name, your job, your nationality, every external label you've clung to, what would be left? Can you truly define yourself without relying on the structures that society has placed around you? Or would you find that beneath it all, you are just a collection of habits, fears, and borrowed ideas? Nietzsche's philosophy forces us to confront this unsettling reality. It challenges us to become more than the sum of our conditioning, to break free from the shallow self-image we have constructed, and forge something new, something authentic. But there is a cost to transformation, the resistance within. When you begin to question yourself at this level, you will experience resistance, not just from the world around you, but from within. Your mind will fight against the process, clinging to old identities out of fear of the unknown. You may feel lost, as if standing at the edge of an abyss, staring into something vast and unknowable. But Nietzsche tells us, do not look away. Instead, become strong enough to face the abyss head-on, to let it shape you rather than destroy you. This is the path of the Übermensch, the one who transcends ordinary existence, who does not simply accept truth handed down by others, but creates their own meaning. It is a path of struggle, but also of immense power. Because once you realize that you are the one shaping your reality, you become unstoppable. The three principles of transformation. But how do we do this? How do we take control of our own evolution instead of being passively shaped by the forces around us? The key lies in three psychological principles. Three insights so powerful that they can completely reshape the way you see yourself. And the last one, it is the most dangerous of all, because once you understand it, there is no turning back. The first principle, embracing internal conflict. Most people believe they should be at peace with themselves, that inner harmony is the ultimate goal. But Nietzsche saw things differently. He understood that within every human being, there is a battle, a struggle between what we are and what we have been conditioned to be. Think about it. How many times have you felt pulled in two directions? One part of you wants to break free, to explore, to take risks, but another part clings to comfort, to routine, to the safety of the familiar. This inner conflict is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of life. It is the tension between who you have been and who you have the potential to become. Nietzsche believed that great individuals are not those who eliminate this conflict, but those who embrace it, who channel it into growth rather than allowing it to paralyze them. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. The person who seeks complete inner peace is often the person running from themselves, trying to silence the very forces that could lead to their transformation. So the first step is not to seek harmony, but to accept the war within, to understand that the self is not a single, fixed identity, but a battlefield of competing desires, fears, and instincts. Your task is not to suppress this battle, but to direct it, to use it as fuel for your evolution. This is not an easy journey. It is a path filled with uncertainty, struggle, and moments of deep doubt. But it is also the only path that leads to true power, to true self-discovery. And in the end, Nietzsche's warning remains. If you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. To truly face yourself, to confront everything you have suppressed, everything you have feared, is to step into the abyss. And once you do, you will never be the same again. The choice is yours. Are you ready? That's a wrap for today on Psychophilus, where philosophy meets psychology to unlock the secrets of the mind. If this sparked your curiosity, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the human psyche. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. More mind-blowing insights are coming, so stay tuned. Until next time, stay curious, think deeply, and question everything. See you in the next one.